the NDTV Auto Show from Japan. Well, while I am not in Japan, Anirban is and has covered Japan Mobility Show extensively, where there were lots of India-specific announcements. First up is Honda's first electric EV for India, Honda Alpha Concept. Let's take a look.
While all these three cars go into production in 2026, our special attention is especially on the Alpha, which will make its India debut the first. Starting with the face, it's an upright design with connected LED DRLs, illuminated Honda badging sitting flush on the black grille. The skid plate looks clean and there are massive aero inserts in the front for better circulation. Onto the sides, there is a huge chunk of plastic cladding that runs all across the body. It rides on massive alloy wheels with aero inserts and the ground clearance also looks healthy. We can't see inside the car, it's all blacked out, but what we can understand is that it will come with level 2 ADAS. The rear section is somewhat that will divide opinions. It's upright and boxy and ends a little abruptly. The overhangs in the car are short and it comes with flush door handles. The rear door handles are placed on the C-pillar. Thanks to the upright profile, it has got a squat stance and it hampers the overall height of this concept. However, I see massive changes when it goes into production. What's interesting here is the U-shaped connected LED tail lamp that runs all across the tailgate section. The lower profile, thankfully, is much neater and looks aggressive. Now let's take a closer look at the SUV concept. It's slightly bigger in size. Presumably it will take on the rivals in the 4.5 meter SUV space and above. This, as we can expect, should go into sales in Europe and US first, and also in India we expect few imports to come to our market. The design is slightly different from the Alpha. The headlamp is a digital interpretation, quite nice and likable. This one also gets an illuminated Honda logo. I like the rear section of the SUV. It's much more neat and gives it a distinct appeal. Lastly, on the Salo, this one is a low-slung, quite sexy and aerodynamic sedan which looks no less than a sports car. The face is chiseled, it drops down sharply and it has got nice integration of LED lights on the face. It rides on massive wheels and the ground clearance is quite low to say the least. We also had a chance to look at the interior of the Salo and this one looks quite special, quite premium, something that we have not experienced in Hondas before. It comes in light ivory shade, proper 4-seater car with generous amount of legroom, headroom. You sit quite low, close to the ground. However, the infotainment system is large, wide and tech-laden. So these are the three concepts based on the Honda Zero platform, and our attention will be on the Alpha, which makes its India debut very soon.
We are at the Japan Mobility Show and it's always not about new cars but tech at large, and we are with Nissan at this point in time. The car you see here, this is a pure electric compact car made for urban environment called Sakura, if I'm pronouncing that right. And this starts at around 11 lakh Indian currency, roughly 20 lakh yen here. What's special is the panel you see on top. This has got solar extender. It's a working prototype and Nissan plans to bring it to the Japanese market very soon. But let me brief you about this electric vehicle first. This essentially increases the overall surface area for sunlight to fall and get absorbed by the batteries. This car spans around 3.4 meters in length and it's quite compact. There is an interesting panel here which kind of shows you the range. I can't read, it's in Japanese, but then it's kind of interactive. It's a 4-door small car, which means even second row passengers can move in and out of the cabin quite easily. It's a compact car but quite spacious and you sit quite upright. Digital instrumentation and there is a digital infotainment screen as well. There is another screen at this point in time. You can see this one says around 550 watt, 65% charging, and this is how it might look like in reality. Let me give you a glimpse of how the cabin looks like. Well, there's space for a family of 4, 5 people can squeeze in. Essentially, it's a compact urban car and Nissan is developing the solar range extender to this Sakura. Well, there's also the Sprung's flex fuel variant on display. We already have the E20 compliant frunk selling in India, which is essentially in the same line as the government regulation. But company is also developing a E100, which means it can purely run on ethanol. This frunks, well, it's under testing development. But what's heartening to see is officials are readying something called WagonR E85 for the Indian market, and it should come to our market somewhere in 2026. This car has little different specs from what we see in India. It comes with 1.2 litre and 1.5 litre gasoline engines with automatic gearbox for the Japanese market. Now, the Victoris is the second bet in the compact SUV space from Maruti Suzuki in India, and it's available in a variety of powertrain. It's already there in strong hybrid, it's there with a naturally aspirated and a CNG variant on sale in India. It's being exported to Japan as well, but here the CBG is a work in progress, and this is a working prototype as we talk to the officials. The brand is trying to evaluate the feasibility of it in the global market, including India. Land Cruiser family finally has a new member, the fourth one of them, the FJ, Fun and Joy. Welcome to Japan Mobility Show. You're watching NDTV Auto, and constant coverage from the Japan Mobility Show brings in here, and this one possibly is the most anticipated display at this Auto Expo. There's a lot of comparison with Suzuki's Jimny, but in my books this is a much bigger car with a more powerful petrol engine. To start off, the design is typically a Land Cruiser. It's rugged, upright, and is ready to go off-road with short overhangs and excellent breakover angle. There's a typical retro element to this overall styling of the FJ. Circular headlamps, but modern interpretation. It has got rectangular LED lamps which sit right under it. The C-shaped DRLs are also quite distinct. There's a Toyota block lettering on the grille as well. The bumpers are slightly different, however they are very cleverly done and they can be removed for quick repairs. Overall, the silhouette is extremely boxy, staying true to the Land Cruiser DNA. Much like the front, the rear also has C-shaped LED tail lamps. The rear bumpers are also removable, much like the front. It's quite a tall SUV with good ground clearance. The inside of the cabin is an all-black layout, leathered seats, and this one is quite feature-loaded. To start off, it gets twin 12.3-inch screens, and the overall visibility from the driver's seat is quite excellent. Also, it gets ADAS with 360-degree camera, which enhances the blind spot monitoring. It also gets dynamic radar cruise control. It gets a side-facing tailgate, and the boot is quite cavernous, and I think you'll enjoy it for the weekend drives. If someday Maruti Suzuki plans to bring in a WagonR electric to India, this is what it may just look like. Well, that's purely an assumption from my side, but what you see here on stage, this is a brand new concept which should eventually be into production from 2026 in the Japanese market. Currently, it's called the Sky Vision, and it has got to do with the color probably, this blue color with nice texture. Let me give you a brief overview of this car, which promises a range of up to 270 kilometers on the single charge. And trust me, it's quite interesting inside out. So that's a Suzuki charging gun, and we are supposed to see that in India real soon because the e-Vitara should make its debut by December. Let's get back to something that I love to call WagonR electric or the Sky Vision. Let's start with the face. It's illuminated. There is a digital layout in the grille. There is a C-shaped DRL cluster, and the headlamps here are projector type. There is the Suzuki badge right in the middle, closed off grille. There is quite a bit of plastic, and then the fog lamps are also vertically stacked. Must remind you, this is in concept stage, so a lot of it may not make it to production. Nice integration of side indicators, blacked out ORVM, and the roof, this genuinely reminds me of WagonR, this dual tone color. Now, there is a concept of K cars in Japan, which means the cars have to be under 3.4 meter in length, and hence this is the space on offer inside is, however, much bigger than what you can make from the outside. Over to the rear, again, the signature C-shaped light setup, quite flush, quite upright. Have to maximize the space as much as they can. Vision Sky, as you can read the name on the skid plate here. Now let's quickly hop inside and tell you more what kind of features are offered in this car. The features here might just surprise you, but then it's concept, but proof of reality that these can come in future. A new 2-spoke steering wheel, quite nicely integrated backlit, and then there is a connected full HD display, driver's digital display. The infotainment is also freestanding. It's part of the single unit here. The AC vents are also finished with this tactile feedback, and thanks to this platform, there is a lot of free space here. There is wireless charging on offer. These seats, well, dual complexion with these blue shade, looks really premium. In fact, the seating is quite tall. In fact, the tall boy we love to call the WagonR, that feel is there. The dashboard design is also pretty different, fresh to the eyes, and there is an ambient lighting which runs across the cabin. Well, interesting feature here, these are regular controls for the window setting, but then there is also at the rear seat you find this button, which essentially begs me the question, will these seats be movable? Can the rear seats be moved front and back to liberate more space? That'll be interesting to see in the future. The ambient light continues all the way to the rear section, gets probably space for 2 people, adjustable headrest. This looks real clean. That is the view of your dashboard, which maybe Suzuki in future can bring it to its cars. And that is the charging socket. Quite easily pull it, plug it, and exactly where your petrol inlet largely remains. Flush door handles, but I am quite excited to see something of this, and I believe maybe this comes into production in 2026 and we get to see our beloved WagonR turning into electric. Hello and welcome to NDTV Auto. Behind me is the Mercedes-Benz Vision V, combination of opulence, size and structure. Let me tell you more about this concept people's mover. It's utmost luxury, but with very interesting styling cues and technology that we have not really seen before. Slide inside, and this is what the luxurious cabin looks like. Finished in light material, Napa leather. Obviously the seats are electrically adjustable. They come with memory function, ventilation, massage, and everything you can dream of. Inside it gets 42 speaker system, and this one is the main party piece. This is a 65-inch display. It's really theater on the wheels. You enjoy with your partner, you enjoy with your friends. This is a strictly 2-seater car. There's plenty of space on offer. There's so much tech that we have not seen before. Thanks to the luxury of space, there's so much that can be dealt inside this car. Massive window line. There is so much to look outside. It also gets this neatly integrated ambient lighting. This culminates here. Looks like it's a mixture of speakers, lights and more features. On the inside there are multiple interesting elements as well. These reflective panels, probably for illumination and a visual drama altogether. On the front as well, this one looks even more gorgeous with this huge 3-display setup that runs across the panel. The driver's seat looks also very pristine thanks to the steering wheel that's finished in, again, the same color as the leather fabric here. Now this van is based on a new architecture. Its van EA platform spans massive. It's over 5 meters in length and just 4 seats, which mean you have more space on offer. Now let me show you the exteriors, which is again full of tech. On the side there is a panel which, well, will greet the owner of the car. For now it's written Hello Tokyo. We are at the Japan Mobility Show, giving you extensive coverage. Now let me remind you, it's not an all new thing because this was first showcased at the Shanghai Motor Show earlier this year. There is camera, there's sensor, so whenever somebody comes in, the door slides open, but then there is recognition on offer. Look at these wheels. These are massive, just as big as the car, 24-inch wheels, and this gives me a feeling of the Maybach as we see this covered enclosure on the aero cap. The tail light is also something very interesting, nothing that I've seen before. It's an element that runs across the profile. There is dotted elements and this massive logo right in the middle with Vision V badging. Look at the logo closely. It has got a light, and this illumination will have a glimmer to it when you look at this car at night. The grille also is massive. It's closed off. Gets this interesting pattern, not something that we are used to seeing in Mercedes-Benz cars, but then the light setup.
This one looks very refreshing, very upmarket with the tri-arrow integration of the main LED setup. There are aero vents on the sides, and then there is this chrome slit that runs all across the front profile. Well, about the powertrain, range and battery factor, we don't know much about the Mercedes Vision V, but 2026 is when the production-ready model might just make its debut in the international market. We are at Japan Mobility Show, and behind me is the Corolla Concept. Remember the name? It was there in India for quite some time, discontinued almost a decade ago. Now the Corolla is in almost 12th generation. This could possibly be the 13th. Debut is expected in 26 or 27. There's a radical change in the design, the layout inside the cabin. This one is quite a successful model for the US market. Let me tell you what are the changes and how this is different from the existing Corolla. Corolla inarguably is one of the best looking Toyota sedans out there. And in this concept stage, well, there is change in the light setup. This is fragmented, the main DRL strip, but it runs all across. There is a L-shaped inverted band which acts as a DRL. It's a sloping hood, quite short in design. It rides on 19-inch aero wheels, quite low slung to be honest. Look at how the character line of this car drops down, quite unique honestly. It comes with flush door handles. The character line, see here, it drops down. Sleek ORVMs. Very low profile, very low slung. There are strong lines on the lower half as well. And the alloy wheels, they appear to be in Y shape. It's quite a long sedan, almost 4.5 meters in length. The rear section is also quite stooping. It bows down, and then there is a kink which meets at the end. The rear section also gets a connected LED DRL, and then there is Corolla badging finished in contrast. It is definitely a radical change that Toyota has taken with the new Corolla, and I expect there are a few changes that may appear as it nears the production. Frameless doors, and they have a wide aperture. Inside the cabin, there is separate instrumentation for the driver and for the co-passenger. The middle section also gets a floating type architecture with modern knobs and buttons. It's quite minimalistic and frees up a lot of space inside the cabin. The steering wheel is a 2-spoke unit. It's a fresh setup, and it gets a cockpit which is extremely intuitive and driver focused. The seats are electrically adjustable. They are sport seats. You sit quite low, close to the ground. The second row seats are also very spacious, quite a bit of leg room. The fabric is finished in light ivory tone. Well, the launch timeline has not been disclosed, but 2026 end or 27 is when the production-ready model should hit the market. In terms of powertrain options, there will be 4 to choose from. There will be a gasoline, there will be a plug-in hybrid, there will be a strong hybrid, and then there will be an electric avatar of the Corolla as well. Hello everyone, you have tuned into NDTV Auto. We are bringing an extensive coverage from Japan Mobility Show. Behind me is something that's interpretation of future of last mile connectivity from Suzuki. This has been co-developed with Glideways. Suzuki manufactures this, sells it in the US as a pilot as of now. But what's important in this vehicle is its autonomous features and also its electric, which essentially means it's a driverless form of electric mobility. Inside this, 4 to 6 people can sit, can serve as last mile provider in spaces like airports and even at places like private resorts. It comes with a sliding door. The aperture is huge. You sit inside, it's comfortable. Comes with state-of-the-art amenities, and also the visibility from inside is quite clear. It works on a slew of sensors and camera-based tech. It's autonomous, gives you a range that runs for around 4 to 6 hours in a closed environment. This is how it looks like from the inside. The sliding doors gives me an impression of a metro or a subway. The inside of it is quite spacious. It comes with SOS feature. There is a screen here displaying the next location on offer, maybe subwoofer and music system to constantly tell you about where you should get off. It's quite neat here. It's still in concept stage, and as you can see here, how it might look like in the future. It comes with sliding doors, quite airy inside, and since it's electric, the goal has been towards sustainability. Now it will run on specified tracks, as you can see if you look at the wheels. It has to be in a controlled environment, but it would be very interesting to see if it really makes into reality in several markets, especially countries like India, where it can be a huge boon, driverless plus electric. Hello and welcome to NDTV Auto. We are at a Japan Mobility Show, and often coming to global events like this is exciting and refreshing. We get to see cars which probably will never come to the Indian market. One of them right behind me. I've heard about Lexus, the luxury arm of Toyota. This sits even higher. I'm talking about the Century, their super exclusive car. This is in an electric concept format. Let me give you a glimpse of it, and on the way, on the journey, I'll tell you more about this brand and this car in special. The Century sub-brand of Toyota began its journey back in 1968, presumably completing 100 years of existence. This one is bespoke. Less than 100 units of this is manufactured in a month. Especially it goes up against the likes of Bentley and Rolls-Royce, and it does quite well in the Japanese market. The one you see in the frame, this is an all-electric concept avatar. A SUV body type with a coupe design. It gets electrically adjustable sliding doors that open sideways. The front of it gets quad LED headlamp setup, much like the regular ICE counterparts, but then this is a digital interpretation. The Century emblem sits right in the middle of the dynamic yet flush grille. The bonnet is long and it gets active aero inserts. The front also has digital interpretation at the lower half, and the skid plates looks quite pleasing to the eyes. Only 3 generations of Century have come over a period of 55 years. That's how exclusive this is. In its ICE avatar, it used to get a V12, V8. This is an all-electric, quite special, and probably it marks a new beginning for the brand. Let's take a closer look at the interior, the cabin of it. Now, in this concept stage, the front seats, these recline, these move around front and aft on its own, and it gets electric adjustment. As you can see, there is leg support. There is a screen for the co-passenger as well. The aperture is massive. The light on the side profile of the door looks quite smashing. Gets frameless doors as well. Massive panoramic sunroof. The cabin looks bespoke. Top tier luxury material used to build the cabin. The dashboard design is quite upright and quite distinct from the ICE counterpart as well. It gets new infotainment screen, the steering wheel has also been changed, and the front compartment has got more space than the ICE counterpart. The rear is a massive flowy design that meets this uplifted section under which the Century emblem sits. Again, the tail lamps mimic that of the front, split quadrant design and quite minimalistic overall. Rides on massive alloy wheels. This look like 24 inches, angular and razor sharp, yet with a quite good ground clearance. And I must remind you, throughout its journey, Century has been on the sedan platform, but in 2023, it made a diversion into SUVs. Now, the brand has not disclosed on 2 key factors. The launch timeline is uncertain. It's still a work in progress, and the powertrain, the range that we can expect from this car. But the direction in the electric is quite certain for this Toyota's luxury arm, the Century. What are your thoughts about this uber premium car? I'd love to know.
So it's clear from Japan Mobility Show, there are many new products planned for India by Japanese OEMs. And if you want to keep a track on all of those, all you have to do is subscribe to NDTV Auto's YouTube channel or follow us on your favorite social media platform. I will see you next week. Till then, take care, drive safe, bye-bye.